Hey everyone, it's Shelly Hoffman with Heart Home Community, and I'm here again. This young lady might look familiar. This is Paige Rocker. She started the Grad to Grad 2020 page, right, for the Baldwinsville fifth grade moving up and the seniors graduating. Um, and I know I've gotten a lot of questions as far as what is Baldwinsville doing as far as the graduation ceremony. And there was a lot of playing by ear, and there was a survey that was set out and stuff. And so I thought I'd connect with Paige just to kind of give everybody an idea of what is happening for the seniors. And I just want to throw in this real quick, Paige. I'm not sure if you're going on Sunday, but the Kiwanis Club actually is doing a movie night in the Orange Lot. Are you going to go to that tomorrow?
Oh, as of right now, yeah, we're planning on it. It was really nice of them to offer to set that up for us, and another thing the community did to come together to try and celebrate us. So as of right now, I think so.
Nice. Hopefully the weather participates. And I think I was told the movie that was going to play. I don't know if it was announced to anybody, so I'll keep it to myself. But it's definitely a good movie. I don't know if Jordan's going to go. I think he might have to work. But just the fact that, like you said, the community stepped up and did another thing to support you guys is awesome. You know. Definitely. So can you give us just a little bit of just the there was a survey, and I have a senior obviously, but Jordan's not as involved as you are in the process. So what were the options? What was the school district trying to do as far as working around COVID-19?
So we had a survey sent out. I want to say it was maybe around 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. Obviously weighing our options because there was a lot of things to take into consideration. The first option was to be solely virtual. We would do nothing in person. It would be something that's being played on the news, and then we would end it at that. Our second option was to do a drive-through graduation. So the speeches from the valedictorian, salutatorian, class presidents would all be pre-recorded. It'd be played on WBXL, the school's radio station, and we would drive through campus in our caps and gowns. And then when we got to the school, the senior would get out, and then you would walk the stage wearing your mask. You could take the mask off for the picture of you getting your diploma, and then you would get back in your car. And then our third option was to postpone graduation entirely in hopes to have a later date where we could be a little less strict with the social distancing guidelines. And this was before Governor Cuomo came out and said that graduations under 150 people were allowed. So at the time we did the survey, we didn't even know if that would be an option after June 26th.
Well, and if I remember correctly, on the survey, it said if you chose one of the other options, the virtual one was definitely happening, which it is. It's getting played on and then the drive-by, just to give a little bit more detail. So I know there was some concerns in the beginning that it would be one family, like one car, and the student would drive up, get out of the car. A parent can step out, take a picture, correct? And at the end of the stage of professional photos, gets taken from a baker, correct?
Yeah, the one thing a lot of people brought up, on the Facebook post the district made, and I know a few people addressed their concerns directly to the district, was a lot of students have parents that are divorced or have people that definitely need to be at their graduation, and they can't all go in one car. So the district, I know, addressed on Facebook that they were allowing that rule to be changed. And more recently, somebody addressed the fact about the one parent getting out and taking a picture. And a lot of people were kind of upset by that. And we're hoping that more people, more parents can be involved, because if one person's taking a picture, what if one person wants to videotape? And the fact that siblings can't really see anything and might be skewed by the car window. And there was a lot of things that were brought up in regards to that. So they've definitely changed the rules a little bit, but I know a lot of people have been confused as to what's going to be allowed and what's not going to be allowed in terms of how fast things have changed, because it went from being one car to there can be two cars, to one parent to there can be as many parents. So I think a lot of people have just been, I know we've been confused with what will be allowed.
Yeah. Well, and to the school's credit, the district credit, because everything just keeps getting changed over and over again. I thought sending out the survey, not even knowing that Governor Cuomo was going to change it to the 150, but just saying, hey, eventually that would be an option. Yeah. Now, the school district did choose the drive-by option, which, I read your post yesterday, and I know you have some thoughts on that, which I'm going to ask you to share. But the other thing I want to mention to the public, if you're not aware, is there is a tentative date for an in-person celebration for the kids in July, correct?
So yes, it's an in-person celebration. How it was worded in the email that we all received was it would be a traditional gathering. And I know my mom, along with a lot of other parents, were confused by this because the way it was worded to us made it seem like we would have the drive-through, and then for July we would have a traditional ceremony, socially distanced, of course. But this instead, the event in July will be kind of like a class reunion, almost in a sense, like similar with aspects to KBR and a few other things. So it's more of a celebration than it is a graduation. And while all of us are, again, very grateful that they're planning this, a lot of us are confused as to how that would be able to happen when we're unable to do anything socially distanced now. It just seemed like a very big jump to make from us graduating by ourselves to us being together as a class in about a month. So I think it was definitely a little bit of confusion with how it was worded, but it's not going to be a ceremony from what we're aware of in July. It'll instead be more of like a party. Somebody said something about like a picnic. Like, it'll definitely be a celebration instead.
So I think that you're using the term like a reunion.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to describe it. I think, it probably holds true to what it is. I put a post, and a lot of people probably don't see my personal post, but, for the most part, I would say like you, I've been pretty positive. The school district is limited, the community is limited, and the community has definitely reached out. Jordan worked. So the nice thing yesterday, anybody that was aware of what was happening in the village, is you as seniors decorated the cars, and instead of going back and walking the halls, right? What did you guys do yesterday?
So yesterday, that was one of my favorite things we got to do, because I was really looking forward to our senior walk through our elementary school. So we instead got to do a senior drive-by parade. We all got to decorate our cars, like we said, and we got to wear caps and gowns, and we drove through the bus circle of our old elementary schools, and all of our teachers and the principals were outside cheering us on, and they decorated the sign in front of the school for us. So it was really nice to be able to see everybody yesterday, and we definitely got some looks going through the village. People were still cheering us on the sidewalk and stuff because we all had our cars. So that was really, really nice. It was so special to be able to go back to where it all started and to be able to have those connections with our teachers again.
Yeah, at first I wasn't exactly sure, because again, my son wasn't participating. And any of you that know Jordan know perfectly well that that's just not his cup of tea, right? The teachers probably would have been shocked if they saw Jordan going up to the school district. They would have been like, "Your mom made you do this, didn't you?" But he worked all day. So going back to the reunion idea, the celebration idea, I think the saddest thing for me with a child like Jordan, and there's other kids, in the district like him, where he wasn't planning really on going to ball. He's not going to voice an opinion probably on the graduation ceremony, right? Because everybody has what's important to them. But what made me sad for him was he doesn't have that last, when you guys left school the last day, we'll see you in 2 weeks, we'll see you. So he's not getting that farewell to the friends that maybe he doesn't talk to on Snapchat or on his phone, or they're just hallway high fives, or, inside jokes or things that you've had over the last, 6 to 12 years. So, so part of that reunion might give you guys that piece of it. Right. So I definitely understand where the school district was coming, because they're getting fed all the different ideas. Do you know if the survey results from what they did, were they published anywhere?
So that was one of our other concerns that we had, was the results of the survey were not made clear to us. We just knew that the decision on graduation was made. There was no transparencies there with what was going on. So a lot of us were hoping we could find out the results. I know I personally voted for it to be postponed. Everybody that I spoke to it or wanted it to be postponed. My mom voted postponed because, usually if the child wanted it to be a certain way, the parent would vote with their kid. So those results weren't made clear to us, which was something that a lot of us were hoping would happen, but they were not published. No.
Okay. So on the flip side, and I remember the survey coming out and talking to it about Jordan. And again, my son being my son, he was like, "Whatever you want to do, Mom," which is perfect, because then I got to pick what I wanted. But I have talked to other people who have concerns for maybe grandmother or their grandfather that wanted to be a part of the ceremony. And that's where I believe Liverpool, which was the school that you referenced to in the post that you had yesterday, they're doing, and you can explain it if you want, but basically it is 6 people they're allowing and walking up. But the concerns, and again, when this survey came out, nobody knew what was going to be about. So there is a slight chance that the drive-through one, because of grandparents and stuff, did win out. But you're right, it would have been nice to know the results, because then it would have taken any of the questions away. But do you know how Liverpool's doing it? Would you like to explain just how another school system is doing the graduation, so people have that comparison?
Definitely. I've talked to a few of my friends at Liverpool, because obviously we've been throwing ideas back and forth with each other on like what our schools are doing. So Liverpool's graduating class is actually a lot bigger than ours, almost by 90 to 100 kids. And they originally were going to do the same thing as us, do a virtual and then do a drive-through. And then as of, I want to say it was yesterday, they came forward and they announced that they're going to be doing something socially distanced. So it's essentially going to be like the drive-through, yet they're going to be able to park their cars. Everybody's going to be assigned a time to come on campus. They're going to be able to walk the stage. There's going to be a picture taken of them when they're like getting their diploma, and 6 members of their family are allowed to come, like not on stage with them, but come into the stadium with them and be in the audience while they graduate, take videos, take pictures, like be able to see them graduate like right there. Then they move on, they get a carnation, they get a packet. Don't know what's included in the packet, as I'm not from Liverpool, but they get that and they get to sit for a formal like picture. And I'm pretty sure family can get in the picture as well. Not 100% sure on that one. But it just seemed a lot more personal than the experience we might be getting, which is why I was a little like, not hurt, that's not a good word. But it was just a little like unnerving to hear that. And I was like, oh, like I kind of wish like we had a more personalized experience, because I know for a lot of people, this is their first senior graduating high school. This is their last senior graduating high school. And like, no matter what it is, it's still a huge milestone, and it still should be celebrated by the whole family. We've all been together for so long. Like I've been with my family for like 3 months in the house, and like now this is a time where I still do want them to be there, like by my side, to be able to celebrate this with me. So yeah, it definitely was a little bit different from our plan. But they're definitely trying to make it work, and they pushed back their graduation. I want to say it's June 27th now, so it's the day after 150 guideline. So they're trying to be as safe as possible, I believe.
Yeah, I know. Melissa Smith just chimed in. That's what ESM did as well, which I believe we saw some of that on Facebook, and it was recorded. And again, we don't sit in the school board. We don't know where the decisions are made. The only thing to do is what you're doing right now, and just, kind of throwing out there, this is how we're feeling, this is how we're thinking. I'm sure, again, they have a reason for it. The hard part is not knowing what the reason was that they chose it. Like, did the survey say this is what the community wanted? And if so, then that's what we should be doing, I think you made a point, it brought up a memory. And if you remember, we talked before, I told you, I'm originally from Pittsburgh. There was a school district there called Elizabeth Forward that I graduated from. My kids were attending. And so my son has a lot of friends still from that grade. They walked through the school. So they parked in the parking lot, and they actually walked through the school, and they had the hallways decorated for them. And then they got to a point where they got their diploma on the auditorium stage. And then the whole family had a picture taken. So again, there was a lot of social distancing, because as the families were walking the halls, there was a lot of space between each of the groups. So, throughout the country, I'm sure each school district is trying to find something different. I'll be honest, one thing in our conversation that I didn't think about till you brought up, which is why you always amaze me, is the family picture at the end. Because you're right, if in the car, you get out, you get your diploma, people take a picture of you, you get a professional picture of you, which again is nice. The hard part, as sentimental parents that we are, is that family picture that we want as well. And obviously you can go home and you can take it in your front yard, but it is nice to have the school system, or the school building and stuff behind you as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm again not 100% sure if Liverpool is doing that. I know they had an additional they had 2 photo ops. They had one during the graduation, like we are, but then they had the additional one that we're not getting. I don't know if the family was included in that. And just like what you were saying with like your home county, I'm originally from Dutchess County. I was going to Beacon City schools down there, and I've watched a lot of my hometown best friends graduate, and they did a socially distanced ceremony where they had a little small group of them, and they were able to walk the stage, take pictures with their family. And then I'm going to college in Long Island, and I've already talked to a lot of people down there from Long Island, and I've seen them graduate. And those areas were the hardest hit by the pandemic. I know, like my home county had, I want to say 6,000 cases at its peak. Wow. Yeah, and they were still able to rally together and do something safely. And I don't believe there's been any repercussions from it negatively yet. So just being able to watch all of them graduate, I was just kind of, fingers crossed something would change so it could be a little bit more personalized. But I'm hoping that by doing all of this and by kind of rallying the community together, we're hopefully going to be able to get a more proper ending.
So I did have another, it wasn't your mom, but another mom of a senior in our community reach out to me this morning, and she was putting together a letter for, to have maybe Syracuse.com. Is there anything that you're asking community members? And again, the survey may come out and this is what the community wanted, but just for your point of what you're trying to do as far as getting a little bit more family friendly of a ceremony, is there anything the community who feels the same way as you can do to help you?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I also did the same thing. I reached out to Syracuse.com. I reached out to News Channel 9 just to get more of a voice in this, because as loud as we can be, the better. What we've been hoping for is, obviously with these new regulations from Governor Cuomo, we are allowed to have small gatherings, like to have small groups. So the ideal situation would for us to be a little even better than Liverpool, and for us to have small groups of graduates graduating at the same time. All of our parents would be able to be there, socially distanced. We have a giant, beautiful football field. I'm sure we could put it to use somehow. We could fit all of us on, not all of us, we could fit the small groups of us on there. That would be ideal if we could just push it back a week or so. If not, we were hoping for something in July. Like, obviously, again, we're all very grateful for what the PTS is doing, and the community is doing, and donating to help make that celebration as great as possible. But we were all really hoping that it would be more so of a traditional ceremony. So with going forward, our goal is to obviously try and get something where we can at least park our cars, have our family come out, walk a stage, have them be there, have all of them be there at some point in time. So obviously it can't happen on June 21st because that's not allowed by the state, but pushing it back a week, that's our main goal, is to have something just as close to Liverpool as what they're doing, and to ESM and to a lot of other districts I've seen do the same thing, or postponing it even further in hopes to have a very safe and socially distanced ceremony with several groups of graduates so we can all still be together. Because at the end of the day, like, this is our class, and a lot of us are going very far away for college, and we don't know like when we'll be able to see each other again. And we didn't get that last day of school, we didn't get that closure. So to be able to even graduate in like a little small group with somebody instead of just being alone and having your family be in the car, like, anything would be better than this. And again, we really appreciate what the district is doing, and it's a very difficult situation. Obviously, we all know this is not an easy choice to make, and I applaud all of the members of administration for how much work and thought they've put into this. But I feel like, obviously, seeing what Liverpool has done, seeing what ESM has done, and seeing what a lot of other schools have done, I feel like a little more could be done to just try and make this a little more personal for us.
Now, and I want to point out for anybody that's just starting to watch this, if you weren't watching from the beginning, really, Paige, I always say that you and a lot of your classmates impress me, because you're starting here, and obviously what you would love to have is here, but you're just asking for something in the middle, something that it doesn't have to have the group of kids like you would love to have, but at least have your family there. And I think you spoke well about it. If the district, if they have their reasons for doing it, I will say the nice thing is always to know what those reasons are. And I do have some people making comments on our video, kind of asking for the same thing. Just let us know, because when you know the reason, then at least you can accept it a little bit easier.
It's definitely more of a communication thing, and I reached out to our superintendent and our principal directly just to try and get a more direct answer. My first email didn't go through as well, so I sent a second email, and Mr. Denton agreed to call me on Monday. So hopefully we can work out that communication thing, and I can try and see more of the issues that, obviously the pandemic is the biggest issue, but to see why we are unable to do things that a lot of other districts are doing. Like, I know I have a lot of friends on senior council, and they've obviously been trying to fight for us and been trying to give us the best experience that we can get. So I know a lot of people are in this and are trying to do as much as they can for us. And we're so grateful for that. And it's great that we're all able to come together and try and make a change and try and make this as best as we can.
No, I agree. I'm just going to end it here, Paige, and just let people know if they have ways to help and support you, or ideas that they have, that they can certainly reach out to me on the Hard Home community page. And what I'll do is I'll forward that to you. But I think it's just a matter of, like, anytime you're looking for a change or for answers, the more voices sometimes that are out there, sometimes you can get that response. And again, I believe that you talk very respectfully about the school district. It's not anything that's about disrespect. It's just wanting to be heard and wondering why, what the community thought the results of the survey would be based on the way everybody has talked about it, why the survey results ended with a different outcome, if I sum it up correctly, right?
Yeah, definitely. And again, like, I thank you for addressing that, because I in no mean comes, I don't mean to come from a place of disrespect at all. Very great district. We've seen support from Baldwinsville like we never have before. We all really came together during this time to try and support everybody as best as we can. So I, again, just really appreciate you pointing that out. And I'm just so thankful for what this district has done for me over the past few years that I've been here, because it really has been an amazing experience. And I'm just hoping that we can end it like in a great way.
Yeah. And I think the district should be proud of the way that you're handling this, the pandemic, the way that you went with online schooling and just reaching out to the fifth grader. So the district itself should take pride in, one of the students that they produced out in our community. So thanks for taking the time, Paige. Like I said, I saw your post yesterday, and it touched me because I am the mom of a senior. My senior is not nearly as involved as you and some of his friends and other friends, but it's sad, and it's not the way that we saw the senior year. And we, as a mom of a senior, we appreciate everything the community is doing, and just, again, the outlook that you kids have and the way that you've handled it. So you should be very proud. I know your mom's very proud of you, and the community itself should be proud of you, Paige.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And if you go to the movie that the Kiwanis is sponsoring tomorrow, have an amazing time. I'm sure you'll see some of your friends there too.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Bye, Paige.
Bye.